Section: Contents. In this section, we will discuss reinforcement learning from human feedback, RLHF, and its significance in integrating human preferences into machine learning models, especially in aligning large language models, LLMs, with human values and preferences. RLHF has gained attention in various communities, particularly since the introduction of ChatGPT. However, compared to supervised fine-tuning, RLHF is not as explored in the open-source community. To explain RLHF, we define an LLM using a policy pi that generates responses based on prompts. The initial model in RLHF, denoted as pi_0, is fine-tuned using instruction following data after pre-training. A crucial component in RLHF is the preference oracle, which provides preference signals based on queries. These signals are often modeled using the Bradley-Terry model, connecting RLHF's learning objective with reward maximization. Previous RLHF methods can be categorized into deep RL-based approaches, like proximal policy optimization, PPO, and direct preference learning methods, such as DPO. The deep RL-based framework involves training a reward model and then using DRL methods like PPO to optimize rewards. On the other hand, direct preference learning methods like DPO learn directly from human preference datasets without explicitly defining a reward function. While both approaches have their strengths, they also face challenges. Deep RL methods require extensive hyperparameter tuning and computational resources, especially for LLMs. Direct preference learning methods are easier to tune and require fewer resources but may suffer from over-optimization due to limited datasets. This limitation can lead to poor performance when faced with new data. In our project, we focus on direct preference learning algorithms due to their practical advantages, leaving the exploration of deep RL-based methods for future research. We acknowledge the challenges faced by both approaches and aim to address them to improve the alignment of LLMs with human preferences effectively. Section Summary. In this section, we delve into reinforcement learning from human feedback, RLHF, a technique crucial for incorporating human preferences into machine learning models like large language models, LLMs. RLHF involves a preference oracle that provides preference signals, often modeled using the Bradley-Terry approach, connecting learning objectives with reward maximization. Previous RLHF methods include deep RL-based approaches like proximal policy optimization, PPO, and direct preference learning methods such as DPO, each facing challenges like extensive hyperparameter tuning for DRL and over-optimization due to finite datasets in direct preference learning. Section: Online Iterative RLHF. In this section, we explore the concept of online iterative RLHF. We discuss how projects like Claude and Llama 2 have shown that online iterative RLHF can enhance model performance. The process involves updating policy pairs based on historical data, collecting new data iteratively, and incorporating human feedback to improve the reward model and policy performance. Online data collection is crucial in RLHF as it helps in refining the reward model. Initially, low reward responses are used to train the model, but as the policy improves, higher reward responses may pose challenges. By continuously collecting new data online and updating the model iteratively, we can address these challenges effectively, leading to better policy performance. We also touch upon the idea of human feedback approximation, where training a proxy preference model can enhance model performance by providing proxy labels in a semi-supervised manner. This approach leverages the generalization capability of the reward model to improve the overall model performance. Furthermore, we discuss related work on RLHF algorithms, highlighting the use of PPO and direct preference learning algorithms. While PPO has limitations in terms of stability and resource requirements, direct preference learning algorithms offer a more stable alternative and have shown impressive performance in various benchmarks. Overall, we emphasize the importance of online iterative learning in RLHF as it can help mitigate challenges related to reward modeling and significantly improve model performance compared to traditional offline methods. Section Summary. In this section, we explore the concept of Online Iterative RLHF, which has shown significant improvements in model performance compared to traditional offline methods like the Claude project and Llama 2 project. The process involves updating policy pairs based on historical data, collecting new responses, querying human feedback, and continuously enhancing the reward model's reliability in evaluating high reward responses. By iteratively collecting new online data and enlarging the preference dataset, we can effectively improve the policy's performance and mitigate the out-of-distribution problem, ultimately enhancing the reward model's accuracy in the high-reward regime. Section: Reward Modeling as Human Feedback Approximation. In this section, we delve into the construction of preference models. We explore both the reward modeling as maximum likelihood estimation, MLE, of the Bradley-Terry, BT, model and the general preference model. We provide the training details and the full recipe in our work. For our preference datasets, we utilize a mix of open-source datasets for training. These datasets include hydrogen hydride RLHF, SHP, Help Steer, PKU Safe RLHF, Ultra Feedback, Ultra Interact, Distillable, and Distillable Orca. Each dataset offers unique characteristics and preferences annotated by humans. To ensure quality training data, we filter out low-quality and irrelevant samples from these datasets. In constructing the Bradley-Terry reward model, we initialize it using the SFT model and train it using the negative log likelihood loss function for MLE. The preference model, on the other hand, takes a prompt and two responses as input to predict the probability of one response being preferred over the other. We leverage the LLM's ability as a next token predictor for preference modeling. During training, we format preference pairs as instruction following tasks to fine-tune the model. To address position bias, we randomize the order of responses during data formatting. The preference model is trained for one epoch with specific batch sizes and learning rates. Overall, our approach involves meticulous dataset curation and model training to construct effective preference models for various applications. Section Summary. In this section, we delve into constructing preference models by exploring reward modeling as the maximum likelihood estimation, MLE, of the Bradley-Terry model and a general preference model. We utilize a variety of open-source datasets like hydrogen hydride RLHF, SHP, Help Steer, PKU Safe RLHF, Ultra Feedback, Ultra Interact, Distillable, and Distillable Orca for training, ensuring data quality by filtering out low-quality and noisy samples. The Bradley-Terry reward model is initialized using the SFT model and trained with negative log likelihood loss, while the preference model leverages the LLM's next token prediction capability for fine-tuning on instruction following tasks, with responses randomized to mitigate position bias. Section: Evaluation Result. In this section, we examine two versions of the training set, MIX1 and MIX2. MIX1 includes hydrogen hydride RLHF, SHP, Ultra Feedback, and summarization datasets, while MIX2 comprises all datasets listed in the table. MIX1 is similar to Ultra Feedback but with an additional summarization dataset, whereas MIX2 contains more reasoning preference pairs, math and code, and safety data. We explore three different approaches to model preference signals: prompting in the LLM as a judge manner, reward modeling as the MLE of the BT reward model, and the preference model. Our evaluation is based on the Reward Bench benchmark, which assesses reward model capabilities in chat hard, safety, and reasoning categories. The results show that the prompting approach is inferior to both the BT model and the preference model without explicit training. The preference model performs better than the BT model in reasoning tasks related to coding and math. With more data, especially in coding, math, and safety, the reward model trained by MIX2 achieves higher accuracy in safety and reasoning compared to earlier attempts. The Ultra-ERM13B reference model demonstrates that additional safety and reasoning data, along with a stronger base model, significantly contribute to the superior performance of our reward model. We also observe a length bias in reward modeling, where responses tend to be longer. To investigate this bias, we randomly sample prompts and generate responses using the SFT model. The heat maps of the Pearson correlation coefficient between response lengths and rewards show that both reward models exhibit a bias towards longer responses. The ULTRARM13B model shows a stronger bias compared to our BT reward model trained on MIX2. This bias may be influenced by the preference data used, such as additional datasets with shorter preferred responses. We introduce the main algorithms for Online Iterative RLHF, focusing on direct preference learning for stable and efficient training. We perform supervised fine-tuning, SFT, using the Llama 3-8B base model to obtain the initial policy. The training involves high-quality instruction datasets and follows specific parameters and techniques to accelerate the process. We present the Iterative Direct Preference Learning framework, emphasizing hybrid batch learning and a non-symmetric structure to balance exploitation and exploration. The main agent aims to learn the optimal policy, while the enhancer assists in exploring areas of uncertainty. The theoretical guarantees of our strategic exploration methods ensure efficient learning and convergence to the optimal policy within a specified number of iterations. Section Summary. Evaluation Result. Two versions of the training set are considered. Mix 1, which includes hydrogen hydride RLHF, SHP, ultra feedback, and summarization, and Mix 2, comprising all datasets in table. The preference model outperforms the BT model in reasoning tasks related to coding and math, especially with more data in coding, math, and safety. The length bias in reward modeling is explored, showing that both reward models are biased towards longer responses, with ULTRARM13B demonstrating a stronger bias compared to the BT reward trained on Mix 2. Section. Practical Implementation Details. In this section, we will discuss the practical implementation details of our approach. We have illustrated our implementation in a figure. The main agent uses the maximum likelihood estimation, MLE, policy, where we apply deterministic policy optimization, DPO, on historical data to approximate the optimal policy under the MLE reward. Although we use DPO for its simplicity, our algorithm can also work with other Oracle algorithms like proximal policy optimization, PPO, and InfoNCA. The key challenge is selecting an exploration policy to enhance exploration. We aim to find an enhancer policy that maximizes uncertainty relative to the main agent within a specific policy subset. Unfortunately, the uncertainty estimator does not have an analytical form except in the linear case. However, we aim to maximize the policy difference with the main policy while keeping a moderate KL divergence. This leads us to use model variants of the main policy. To introduce diversity and facilitate exploration, we can adjust the training steps and temperature. For example, we can use models with different training steps or adjust the sampling temperature of the main policy. Another popular approach is rejection sampling, where we sample multiple responses and select the best one based on a reward function. This method helps enlarge the margins between policies and promote exploration. In our experiments, we use DPO with the TRL open source package to approximate the computational oracle. We run DPO on historical data for 2 epochs to obtain the MLE policy. We use specific learning rate settings and a global batch size to accelerate training. To enhance exploration, we combine temperature tuning with rejection sampling. Instead of fixing the main policy, we optimize both the best and worst responses induced by the MLE policy. We collect prompts from various sources and generate responses iteratively. To speed up data generation, we use VLLM for inference with specific settings. We also use a reward model to rank responses based on their quality. Our goal is to mitigate length bias and ensure efficient exploration. Additionally, we leave a more detailed comparison between the reward model and preference model for future research. Section Summary. In this section, we shift our focus to the practical implementation details of our algorithm. We illustrate our implementation using the MLE policy and discuss the challenge of choosing an enhancer policy for exploration, emphasizing the importance of maximizing policy difference while maintaining a moderate KL divergence. We also describe adjustments made to temperature, training steps, and exploration strategies like rejection sampling to introduce diversity in models and facilitate exploration in our experiments. Section: Benchmark. In this section, we evaluate the models using standard benchmarks like ALPACAEVAL2, MTBench, and ChatArena-Hard. ALPACAEVAL2 focuses on single-turn conversations with 805 test prompts covering various topics. We compare our models with GPT-4 Preview to calculate the win rate. MTBench is a multi-turn benchmark with 160 test prompts from 8 different areas. The model needs to answer an initial question and a follow-up question, which are then rated on a scale of 1 to 10 by GPT-4. ChatArena-Hard includes 500 test prompts from Chatbot Arena's live data, evaluating the model's specificity, domain knowledge, complexity, problem solving, creativity, technical accuracy, and real-world application. We also assess the models using academic benchmarks like GSM-8K, MMLU, Human Eval, Truthful QA, ARC, and MBPP to evaluate coding, reasoning, and general knowledge abilities. It's important to note that RLHF alignment can impact reasoning, calibration, and truthfulness capabilities, known as the alignment tax. Therefore, evaluating our model on these benchmarks is crucial to understanding the impact of iterative RLHF on these aspects. Our results show that online iterative RLHF significantly enhances conversation quality. Our model, SFR Iterative DPO Llama 3-8BR, outperforms other models with less than 10B parameters on conversation and instruction following benchmarks. Additionally, our model trained with iterative DPO consistently outperforms the vanilla offline DPO baseline. It also outperforms larger models like Tulu 2 DPO70B and GPT 3.5 Turbo 1106 aligned by DPO or PPO, showcasing the effectiveness of online iterative RLHF in improving conversation quality. Furthermore, we compare our model's performance on academic benchmarks with the SFT checkpoint and other baselines. Our iteratively DPO-aligned model even outperforms the SFT model in several benchmarks, indicating the effectiveness of leveraging iterative DPO to enhance model capacities injected during pre-training and SFT stages. We acknowledge that models aligned with RLHF based on initial checkpoints and more epochs can approach or surpass state-of-the-art closed-source models on benchmarks. However, caution is needed in interpreting these results due to finite test sets not fully representing real-world scenarios. Additionally, small models may overfit benchmarks, leading to limited real capacity despite high scores. We conducted an ablation study to address the issue of aligned model responses being longer than the SFT baseline, potentially due to reward model bias. By incorporating a length penalty into the reward function, we mitigated length bias, resulting in shorter responses and improved performance on certain benchmarks. Moreover, we investigated the impact of the reward model used in online iterative RLHF by comparing our model to one trained with Ultra RM13B. Our model showed better performance on academic benchmarks, indicating the importance of appropriate preference signals for reasoning-related tasks. The ULTRA-RM13B model achieved a higher win rate in ChatArena-Hard, highlighting the verbosity bias of this benchmark. Section Summary. In this section, we evaluate our models using standard benchmarks such as ALPACAEVAL2, MTBench, and ChatArena-Hard. These benchmarks assess the model's performance in single-turn and multi-turn conversations, as well as their ability in specificity, domain knowledge, and problem solving. Our model, SFR Iterative DPO Llama 3-8BR, outperforms other models on conversation and instruction following benchmarks, showcasing the effectiveness of online iterative RLHF in improving conversation quality. Additionally, we compare our model's performance on academic benchmarks with other baselines and observe that our iteratively DPO-aligned model even surpasses the SFT model in certain tasks, indicating the benefits of leveraging iterative DPO in enhancing model capacities. Section: Endnote and Future Direction. In this section, we examine the workflow of the Online Iterative RLHF. We utilized on-policy sampling and external preference signals from a proxy preference model trained on various open-source preference datasets. The resulting model, named SFR Iterative DPO Llama 3-8BR, showed impressive performance on standard benchmarks. We have provided detailed instructions on how to replicate these results, including data, code, models, and hyperparameter choices. There are several potential directions for future exploration. Firstly, the quality of the preference signal greatly impacts the iterative RLHF, as shown in the table. We employed a proxy scalar reward model trained on diverse open-source datasets to mimic human feedback. It would be intriguing to investigate if we can develop a more effective strategy to model different types of preference signals, such as a multi-head reward and classification-based activation strategy. Secondly, although rejection sampling serves as a good heuristic exploration strategy, there is room to explore more effective exploration methods. Lastly, most models following RLHF tend to respond with longer answers, which is further exacerbated in the iterative RLHF framework due to length bias. We conducted a preliminary study on this issue by introducing an additional length penalty in reward for data filtering. It would be interesting to explore if we can further address this problem through additional algorithmic designs or post-training techniques. We aim for the outcomes of this project to advance the field of online iterative RLHF and contribute to the enhancement of stronger and larger open-source LLMs. We express our gratitude to the open-source communities, including the Hugging Face TRL team, the Hugging Face H4 team, the Allen Institute AI Reward Bench team, the Meta Llama team, and Axolotl team, for sharing their models, codes, and training sets. Special thanks to Zihao Li for the assistance in reward modeling.